everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today I am going to show you how to make a mosaic triangle blanket or shawl. I like to call it a blanket shawl because I'm using chunky yarn, but if you use a size 3, 2, or 4 yarn, it would just be a shawl. So today you're going to need any size yarn that you would like and the corresponding hook. I am using chunky yarn. If you use chunky yarn and you're making a blanket shawl, you probably can get it done within a week. It works up that quickly and the result is just so beautiful. So let's get started. So to begin, you are going to chain 3, or you can make a magic loop. I stopped making magic loops because I made this whole sweater and the loop came apart and I had to doctor up the sweater to make it right again. So I stopped using magic loops. I like to either chain up 3 or 4 and then slip stitch to your first chain. So today I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to slip stitch into my beginning chain hump to make a circle, just like this. It's real small, but it's there. There we go. And then you are going to chain up 3. 1, 2, I'm sorry, you're going to chain up 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you are going, this chain 4 counts as your first double crochet in a chain 1. Now, inside of this little circle loop that you just created, you are going to place a granny corner stitch in there. And a granny corner stitch is 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets, and then a chain 1. So, put 3 double crochets inside of that little hole. So, 1. It is going to be tight. I'm not even going to lie about that. You might, if it's too tight for you, you can do a chain 4 and the hole will get a little bit bigger. I just like to do the chain 3 because I like this beginning little hole to be as small as possible. So I just struggle with it for the first round and then it gets better. So then I have 3 double crochets and then I need to chain up 2 and then put 3 more double crochets back into that hole to finish off this granny corner stitch, and then chain 1 to complete it. And then now you are going to place 1 double crochet into that same hole or ring or whatever you want to call it, and that is row 1. That's just as simple as that. So then you're going to turn your work in this row. So for this pattern, you're going to have a right side and wrong side. And it's just important because it's going to let you know if you're going to be doing a front post tribble or a back post tribble. On the right side, you're going to be doing front post tribbles when you get to your mosaic granny stitches. And then on the wrong side, you're going to be doing a back post tribble instead of a front. And you will know what I mean once we get there. So for row 3, just like every row for the rest of this pattern, you are going to chain up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And remember, this counts as your first double crochet in a chain 1. And then in this chain 1 space right here, you are going to place a granny stitch, which is 3 double crochets in the chain 1. And then in your next chain 1 space, we are now going to start doing our mosaic granny stitches. Now we're working, row 3 is the right side, so we are going to be doing mosaic granny stitches with front post tribbles, and I will show you what I mean. So to do a mosaic granny stitch, you will place a double crochet inside of that chain 1 space, and then you are going to front post tribble around the middle double crochet from the previous round, and then you are going to place a double crochet back into that chain 1 space, and then chain 1. Now we are at a corner, a chain 2 space, so then we are going to put our granny corner stitches in there, which is 3 double crochets, and chaining up 2, and then 3 more double crochets back into that same chain 2 space. Chain 1, and now we are at a chain 1 space, and we are going to do a mosaic granny stitch, and that is placing 1 double crochet inside of the chain 1 space, placing a front post treble around the middle double crochet from the previous round. Oops. And then placing a double crochet back into that chain 1 space and chaining 1. Now we are at the end where we have a granny stitch and then our chain 4, and how you will end this every single time, you will place a granny stitch in this space right here, and that is 3 double crochets, and then a chain 1 for your granny stitch, and then to end you are going to double crochet into the 3rd chain, so 1, 2, 3 to end. There we go. To end this row. And that's it. So we're done with row 3, and this is how it's starting to look. This has to be my favorite one because, I mean, when I say this thing works up fast, it works up fast. And I'm working on one in the size 4 yarn, and it's working up just as fast. Okay, so let's move to row 4. So for row 4, you start it just like all the other rows. So you turn your work, you chain up 4. Is that 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then in this space right after your chain, you are going to place 3 double crochets. You're going to place a granny stitch, which is 3 double crochets in the chain 1. And then in all of your chain 1 spaces, you are going to place a reverse mosaic granny stitch, and that is a double crochet into the chain 1 space. And instead of front post tripling like we did on row 3, you are going to back post triple, and it looks like this. So you are going to back post triple around the middle double crochet from the previous round. I like to kind of pull my work like this. It makes it a little bit easier. And then you place a double crochet back into that chain 1 space, and then chain 1. And that is a mosaic front post treble. And then this is what it looks like on the right side. And then this is what it looks like on the wrong side. So on the wrong side, everything is flat, and you won't have any bumps. So now I'm at another chain 1 space, and I'm going to do a reverse mosaic granny stitch, and that is putting 1 double crochet inside of the chain 1 space, and then back post tripling around the middle double crochet from the previous round, and then placing a double crochet back into that chain 1 space, and then chain 1. And now we are at a corner chain 2, or the peak at chain 2. So you're going to put granny corner stitches inside of that chain 2 space, which is 3 double crochets, chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets, and then chain 1. And now we're back to our chain 1 spaces. So put your reverse mosaic clusters, granny clusters, into these 2 chain 1 spaces, and then I will meet you right here to finish off this row. Okay, so I am at the end at this chain 4 space, this space right here, and you are going to place your granny stitches in there, which is 3 double crochets in the chain 1. And remember, we're going to, in each row you end it like this. So to finish off, you are going to place a double crochet into the 3rd chain, 1, 2, and then 3. I suggest making the chains kind of, loose so it won't be so hard. And then that is the end of row 4. This is the wrong side, and then this is the right side, and you can see it starting to come together. Now let's do row 5, and then you will just keep going, swip swapping from row 4 and 5. So you just do a pattern repeat of row 4 and 5 until you get to your desired length, and that's pretty much it for it. So let's start row 5. So all you're going to do is chain up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and row 5 is your right side row, and you are going to place a granny stitch into this space, and that is 3 double crochets in the chain 1. And then here we are at our chain 1 spaces, and then your chain 1 spaces, you are going to put a mosaic granny stitch, which is placing a double crochet inside of the chain 1 space, and then front post tripling around the previous round's middle double crochet, and then placing a double crochet back into that chain 1 space, and then chaining up 1. And that is a mosaic granny stitch. Now here we are at another chain 1 space, and you are going to do a mosaic granny stitch, but this time instead of putting your front post treble around a previous round's double crochet, you already have a front post treble here, so you're going to front post treble around that previous round's front post treble. And then here we go, place a double crochet inside of the chain 1 space, front post treble around the previous round's front post treble, and then double crochet back into that chain 1 space, and then to chain 1. Now reverse mosaic granny stitch into that chain 1 space, and I will meet you back. Okay, so I am at my chain 2 space, which is my corner or peak, whatever you want to call it, and you are going to put granny corner stitches inside of there, which again, it's 3 double crochets, and then a chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets, and then a chain 1 to finish the granny corner granny corner stitch off. It's like really hard to say all this. You get like tongue-tied. But anyways, now we are back. Now we are on this side, so you're going to put granny mosaic granny stitches into each of your chain 1 spaces. And I will show you that again. So you put a double crochet inside of the chain 1 space, front post treble around the previous round's double crochet, and then a double crochet back into that chain 1 space, and then chain up 1. So now finish doing that until you get to the end, and remember, you're always going to end with a granny stitch here and a double crochet into the chain 3. Okay, so I'm at the end, and I just need to place my last granny stitches into this chain, to this space right here between your chain 4 and your granny stitch. So it's 3 double crochets and a chain 1, And then to finish off, you put a double crochet into the third chain. So 1, 2, 3. Just like that. And then that's it. So you're just going to repeat rows 4 and 5 until you get to your desired size. Now, if you want to make the hood, well, first, this pattern can be used, this V-stitch can be used for a scarf. I think that would look really beautiful as a scarf with like a size 4 yarn. Or you can use this as a shawl and just keep going into your desired size. Now, if you want to make a hood attachment, keep watching because I'm going to, after this, I'm going to put in how I made my hood. Now, when you get to the hood part and you get to your desired size for your shawl, what you're going to do is you're going to half double crochet all the way around your shawl, and then we are going to attach your hood. So if you just want this V-stitch and you want to make like a scarf or a shawl or something and you don't want the hood, just stop here and keep on going until you get to the length that you want. But if you want to do the hood attachment, keep watching, and we're about to do that now. Okay, so to make the hood, you are going to need to first make 2 Mosaic granny squares. Now, if you need help learning how to make Mosaic granny squares, I will link the video down in the description box because I already made a video about how to make those. And then go look at that and figure out how to make it. And then you're going to want to keep making your Mosaic granny square until the size that you would like your hood to be. Like this size right here, it's 5, how many rows did I do? Rounds did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I did 4 rounds in chunky yarn, and this size will be good for like a baby. So 4 rows rounds with chunky yarn should be good for like a baby size head, but you want to keep going, and you can place it up against your head to see how tall you want it, because that's all you're pretty much doing. You're just making height right now, and then you stop there, and then you just make a matching one. So you're going to need 2 in total. Okay, so once you have your granny squares to your desired size, you're going to put right sides together like this, and I like to line them up to where I just fastened off from making them, the strings like that. And then you are going to attach your yarn into this chain 2 space right here. So let me get my yarn, and you can either use the same yarn or in the picture that you have seen of my hooded blanket shawl, I ended up doing black because it was like an outline. It's really up to your preference. So insert your hook into that chain 2 space and attach your yarn. Tighten it up, pull it through, and then chain up 3. 1, 2, 3. And then now you are going to insert your hook into that middle double crochet, or it could be the middle treble. So insert your hook there, and then on this side insert your hook into the middle double crochet or treble, whichever one is up at that point. And then you are going to slip stitch that together, and then you're going to chain up 3. 1, 2, 3. So it's exactly the same way if you made the hexagon cardigan, how I stitched the panels together. Now here we are in our next granny stitch group, or Mosaic granny stitch group. Here is the middle. Here's the middle of the back panel. Slip stitch those together, and then chain up 3. 1, 2, 3. Here we are in the next group. Here's the middle. There's the middle stitch again. Slip stitch them together, and then chain up 3. 1, 2, 3. Now here's the middle again, and then the back panel middle, slip stitch together, and then chain up 3. Now here we are at the corner. You're going to actually insert your hook into the chain 2 space corner, both of them, and then chain up 3. And here we are at a cluster again. Insert your hook into the, make sure you grab both, make sure you have the V and the back, oops, and then slip stitch them together, and then chain up 3. Now, continue doing that until you get to your next chain 2 space. Okay, so now I am at the chain 2 space, and we are going to finish this round by slip stitching into that chain 2 space and fasten off. There we go. Now turn your work right side out. And then there you have like the hood part. Here we go. There we go. And it makes a hood, and I love how this hood looks. Especially if you do it with different changing colors going out. Right now I just kind of let it flow with the cake. And then you have this beautiful kind of like design right here and how you attach them. I always think that adds like a little flair to it, but not too much. So now we are going to do our border. So you can attach your yarn to any corner. I like to attach it to my right side corner so I can just go all the way around like that. So let me get my yarn, and you can use a different color if you like. I'm just going to keep sticking with letting the ball flow, but it's in the pictures I used black to do the trimming. And if you do the shawl and you do the border, you're going to want to have the trim that the color trim that you do for your shawl portion. So right here. So before you even get to attach your hood, when you get done with your shawl, you are going to want to do your border and then move on to the hood. But with the color that you do your border with, I suggest doing the same color for your hood border, because you're going to be putting them together and it might look kind of off. I don't know. I haven't tried it. I mean, someone should try it so we can see what it looks like. And it would just be 2 different colors when you attach the hood. But it's totally fine if you want to do it. I don't even know how it looks with doing that. This is just the way I do it. So attach your yarn to the chain 2 space, not both of them, just one panel. Like that. And then you are going to chain 1, and that doesn't count as a stitch, and then you're going to half double crochet into that chain 1 space again. And then you are going to half double crochet all, oops, I got an extra strand. So you're going to half double crochet all the way until you get to this other panel right here, the back panel. So I will show you. And then you are going to half double crochet inside in every stitch and in every chain 1 space. Just like this. Get more yarn. The hood is super easy. It looks like it might be hard, but it really isn't. It's just 2 granny squares together. And you can stitch these together however you like. This is just how I did it. So let's get to the peak right here. Okay, so once you get to the peak, I'm almost there, you will have the chain 2 spaces on each side where you joined your yarn in the beginning, right here. So when you get to this point, or the middle part right here, you're actually going to do a half double crochet together. So you go through here, oops, I grabbed the slack, do a half double crochet, half one, yarn over, insert your hook, and then go through all 5 loops, and then half double crochet into the end. Until you get to your next chain 2 space, this corner. So half double crochet all the way until you get to that corner. Remember to half double crochet into the chain 1 spaces. And then once you get to this corner, you are going to, let me get there. Okay, so half double crochet inside of that chain 2 space. And then you are going to chain up 23. 1, 2, 3, 4, oops, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you don't have to chain up 23. You can chain up as many chains as you would like for your tail to be. So this is just going to be able to kind of close your hood if you want it closed or not. So I'm not going to do 23 since I don't need to. And then you're going to skip the first chain closest to the hook, and you're going to half double crochet into the humps all the way down. And this is just making that little and this is just making this chain a little bit thicker so that it doesn't, I really don't like how chains look when they stretch out. So this is just making it kind of like a little bit neater. So half double crocheting all the way down, however many chains you create it, and I will meet you back down at this chain 2. Okay, so I'm back down at the end where my corner chain 2 stitches are, and then all you're going to do is half double crochet into this chain 2 corner, and then continue half double crocheting all the way until you get back to your beginning part. Well, actually, half double crochet all the way until you get to this middle point, and then you're going to do half double crochet 2 together, and then keep going until you get to your beginning half double crochet. So I'm back to this middle point, just like how we did on this side. These chain 2 corners, all you're going to do is half double crochet those together to close that gap, and then continue half double crocheting until you get to your beginning half double crochet, this chain 2 corner. Okay, so I'm back to my beginning half double crochet in this chain 2 area. You're going to half double crochet inside of there, and then you are going to chain up however many chains you chained on this side. You're going to do the same right here. So I'm just going to do a quick couple of them. Then you half double crochet, you skip the first chain, and then you half double crochet all the way down. Okay, and then we're almost done. This is literally the last part. Okay, so now I am back down, and then all you do is slip stitch to your beginning half double crochet, and then fasten off. And that's it. The hood is super easy to make. And you can attach this hood to any piece. It doesn't necessarily have to be this piece. And then this is what it looks like. So your hood is going to be bigger. This is perfect for like a toddler this size. and then you just sew in all of your ends. And then all you're going to do if you're making the blanket shawl is you're going to take your shawl and you're going to fold it in half, and then you're going to take your hood, you're going to take your shawl, actually you're going to put right sides together and fold it in half, and then you're going to take your hood and then flip it inside out and then stick it right here in the middle, and then you are going to slip stitch your hood and your shawl together. I can't do that on video but because my shawl is too small, but you're just going to slip stitch them together, and then once you get done with that, you're just going to put everything right side out, and it will look like that. And then you have your little pieces hanging out to close it up, and then that's it. It's super easy and it works up really fast. So when you guys, if you guys decide to do this, and I can't wait to see everyone's color combinations and how they do it, or even just using this hood on a different piece. I'm obsessed with this hood. Tag me on social media. I am on all platforms, and I love to see everyone's finished products. Bye!